Basil Mills here with Ian from the Lightning Seeds. Ian, how are things with yourself?
Pretty good actually, nice to meet you.
Awesome, Ian. You played Kendal Calling before. What are your impressions of the 10th anniversary of Kendal Calling so far?
Well, we played it kind of half acoustically. It was supposed to be acoustically, and then we kind of went a little bit electric last time. And I loved being here. It's such a beautiful setting, and the people who run it seem really nice. So I've wanted to come back ever since. So it's really nice to be back here. It feels like it's a little bit, it's grown since we last played it, but it's still lovely.
Awesome. Is there any artists you're looking forward to seeing today, Ian?
Well, you know, sometimes you don't get a chance to see that. There's always people on, and you think, oh, I'm going to try and see them, and you're getting ready, and this, that, and the other. But it'd be great to see Noel. Sugar Hill Gang I wanted to see, which, you know, just a piece of history, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's started everything, really. Started all that. You know, them and De La Soul, really, first sort of sample-based hip-hop I can remember, really, you know.
Big time, and obviously a bit of an inspiration to yourself with your
style. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You've worked with a number of artists over the years, Ian. Is there anybody that you're still keen to work with going forward?
I don't do an awful lot of production these days, to be honest. I kind of prefer... I always sort of boomerang between producing the odd thing, but I never saw myself as a producer. It's nothing I ever wanted to be, and I sort of I started a bit accidentally because my friends had this group called Echo and the Bunnymen, so I did their first recordings, and then all of a sudden I was a producer, but it was like, oh no, I'm meant to be a songwriter, and then so I've kind of ended up flip-flopping between the two, but I really prefer playing and writing songs.
I think you've answered the next question. I was going to ask how it basically compares producing and doing your own stuff.
Yeah, well, producing's such a strange thing, Ridge, because it's a job that is a million different things. You know, certain producers do something, another producer does another thing. Some people just get a good vibe, some people rearrange the song, some people make all the bands fit into their sound and make it all sound the same. Some people, you know, it can be anything really, you know, so you've got all different types of producers, and then there's hip-hop producers who are kind of a different thing again, and so it's become almost a word for everything. And you know, there's only what I like doing is, which I feel at my best, like, is when those divisions go down. So for the Bunnymen, we just collaborated, there were no barriers, and I felt a bit like that with the Coral and the Zootons, and maybe, you know, various things that I've worked with, and I love doing that. I love collaborating, but the actual idea of a producer, you know, can sometimes just you're painted into a bit of a corner. It's a very complicated answer, sorry.
Yeah, but, no, I appreciate your honesty.
It's you know, it's just sometimes not fun. So I only really do it if it's people who I sort of already have a relationship with, and I know it's going to be a creative and fun process.
It's going to work. That said, Ian, are you working on some new material for the Lightning Seeds then?
Yeah, I'm. You okay? Sorry. He's heckling me. What was the question? Oh yeah. Actually, funnily enough, like over the last few years, I've written some tunes, but I just haven't been that happy with them really. So it's like you put them in a drawer. It's like a letter you don't post. And then just over the last 3 or 4 months, I've started writing stuff that I'm very pleased with. You know what I mean? And I think I seem like I've just, you know, returned to being a bit more me. I think I got knocked off balance creatively a few years ago, and I could never quite get that feeling back, but it seems to have returned. So we're going to do an album which will be, you know, a full-on trying album, which I probably haven't done for 15 years, you know.
Awesome. When would we expect that? In 2017, 2018 possibly?
Well, I'd like to get it recorded by this Christmas, and maybe get it out, you know, after Christmas sometime. So that would be the ideal thing really, because I think that'd be perfect, because just this moment I'm loving the lineup of the band that are playing with me. It's all friends who I know, and it's a lovely feeling on stage. So it'd be great if I could make the recordings now and maybe tour with this band. It'd be brilliant.
Great stuff. You mentioned you were unhappy with some of your recordings. Scotland is a nation. I'm Scottish. We've been pretty unhappy with our football performances. Any chance of writing us a song?
Well, that's the funny thing. The football doesn't go with the song, does it? I mean, you know, England haven't exactly been inspirational in their performances. Even though Three Lions, you do get the feeling if they ever played well, it's a lovely song to sing. So I think I'm sure someone, when Scotland return to form, someone will write a song and it'll just capture that moment.
Thoughts on Sam Allardyce as the New England manager then?
It's a strange phenomenon that we're all quite happy with Sam Allardyce. I think if you'd have asked me that 5 years ago, I'd have been amazed if people would be happy. But I just think some of the alternatives, and it's just difficult to know. It's difficult to know who would do that job well. Personally, I think they should get Rafa Benitez. He's good.
There's a few Liverpool bands have certainly caught my ear over the last year. The Haze, the Stamp, Tony Steele and the Massacre. Any Liverpool bands that you would recommend that have caught your ear?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things going. Liverpool's changed as a place. Obviously, I'm pretty old school, and so I think there's a place called Lipper, which is a school for everyone to learn music and everything. And a lot of the Liverpool bands seem to be quite connected to Lipper. And there's a lot of bands coming out, but it's possibly Liverpool used to be a bit of a place on its own, and it didn't sound like anyone else or anywhere else. Had a sort of certain vibe to it, even though it could be musically quite wide, from OMD to the Bunnymen to the Coral to and I think there are some good bands, but I also feel like Liverpool feels more like the bands from there, or like any band in the country in a way, rather than specifically from Liverpool. But I agree with you, there are some really good bands, but it just seems I'd love to hear something that couldn't be from anywhere else.
Awesome. Finally, Ian, you appeared on the TFI special last year with Liam Gallagher, Roger Daltrey, Zach Starkey, Bonehead. How did that one come about?
Really, I don't know. I think it just came. It was just someone had the idea to do it, and they wanted people to play on it, and it just seemed like it just all fell into place. We had a rehearsal the night before, and then we did it. So it was very. It was almost a bit of. It almost feels like a bit of a dream, because we just night before do it, done. Wow, that was great, and then that's it, really.
Well, loved the highlight of the series.
Thank you.
Ian, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate you speaking to us.
It's lovely to meet you, and thanks for talking to me.
Thanks very much, Ian.